Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are live on YouTube. We are so back. Thank you, Miss Halification. Is that how you pronounce your handle, George? Good to see you. We are here.
Well,
89 in
some
the
of us are
live.
here.
Some of us are here. Some of us are better than others because Kevin can't get his proverbial crap together because, I don't know. Is
Just
Crimea even
because.
Russia? I mean, is it really? Wow. Hey,
Uh, Welcome.
we got some folks in the house. Thanks for joining. And Growing Up Rosie, how y'all doing? Yvonne, we are here. Yes, we are. We missed you. So, hey, how do you guys like my thumbnail? It's
I
not
like
my
your
idea.
thumbnail.
I ripped it
Was
off. I ripped
Oh,
it
I
off
thought
from
maybe it was
X.
a Grok special.
No. I ripped it off from X. But when I saw it, I had to put that little tagline because
Yeah, it's good.
yeah, I was seeing the pillow talk. So
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 Rosie,
welcome.
Rosie got her R visa. What's her R visa? You mean your 702 visa, Rosie, to come and immigrate?
Maybe so, guys. Welcome to the Sounding Off podcast, simultaneously going out live on Moscow Photographer channel and the new Sounding Off podcast channel, which you'll find the information on the link right here. The last day that we will be going live on both these channels is this coming Sunday. So if you're not subscribed to the Sounding Off podcast, do so now. Same thing with this guy right here and his channel, InfoWars Press. Make sure you
Yep.
subscribe there because that's where these lives will be found from now on. Welcome,
Yeah.
guys. Congratulations, Growing Up Rosie. Got her 3 year tourist visa, I would imagine. Tourist visa to Russia. Welcome. All right, 199 in the live. We are rolling. Let's get with it because we don't have a lot of time, do we?
Uh, we don't have a lot of time, but we have whatever time it takes.
All right, very good. Well, lots of things going on today, especially in the geopolitical world. We had Donald Trump and President Vladimir Putin had a phone call. Some say it lasted up to 2.5 hours.
2 hours,
Other,
yeah.
yeah, other news sources say closer to 1.5 hours. But what does it matter? What matters is what was accomplished, and what was accomplished was good feeling. Good
Yeah,
feelings. Do
what's
y'all
what's
remember?
that
I mean,
song? Good feelings.
this is good
Hey,
feeling. This is Three Dog
Я
Night
сказал, боюсь,
from
боюсь,
the
боюсь,
from the
боюсь.
early 70s.
Но если бы я всего боялся, я бы ничего не делал. Я не могу руководствоваться соображениями такого порядка на том месте, которое я занимаю. Я должен руководствоваться интересами российского народа, российского государства. Я это и делаю, и буду делать дальше.
I really wish I could upload that without its auto starting.
Hey, wait a minute. Did I want you to play that again? But did Putin say that he was Putin first? Is that what I heard there?
No, Russia first.
I'm sorry, Russia first, not Putin
Чтобы я
first.
сказал,
You're
боюсь,
right.
боюсь, 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 боюсь. Но если бы я всего боялся, я бы ничего не делал. Я не могу руководствоваться соображениями такого порядка на том месте, которое я занимаю. Я должен руководствоваться интересами российского народа, российского государства. Я это и делаю, и буду делать дальше.
Yep, I heard it.
So what does that tell you about this phone call?
You know, I like it. I like it
Yeah.
because President Putin said Russia first. President Trump said America first. And they both can coexist in the same world. You really
Yeah.
can when you are nationalistic in a positive way.
The problem I've got with it all is Trump again, his entire administration saying he's the president of peace as he's bombing the crap out of Yemen.
Yeah. There. Kevin, let's one war at a time, please. Yeah, in fact, there's a lot of people who are speaking out. I'm one of those because I'm one of these that, like, you said you weren't going to bomb anything, no more wars, and here we are again. I don't know who you're listening to. If you're listening to BB, you know, that's for another live. But one victory at a time, and let's talk about the victories that have happened today. And that victory is this phone call. And I've got some notes. Let me get to my notes. Where are my notes? All right, RIA Novosti is reporting some key points. These were following a White House press release. So, very general, but during the conversation, the leaders discussed the need for a ceasefire in Ukraine. So they both agree on that. Putin and Trump agreed that movement towards a settlement in Ukraine will begin with a ceasefire at energy and infrastructure facilities. So this means that Russia will cease fire toward Ukrainian energy and infrastructure facilities, and I've so far read that that order has already been given from the Kremlin. The leaders agreed to begin negotiations on a ceasefire in the Black Sea. They will start immediately in the Middle East. I don't understand what RIA Novosti is trying to say there. The presidents further agreed that a future with improved bilateral relations between the United States and Russia has great potential. I love that. The future of bilateral relations between Russia and the United States includes huge economic deals and geopolitical stability. Wow, I love that. And we'll break that down. We'll unpack that here in just a minute. But the leaders also discussed the need to stop the spread of strategic weapons. And finally, Putin and Trump agreed in their conversation that Iran should never find itself in a position where it can destroy Israel. And we'll unpack that one as well. But the first one that I would like to discuss is the future of bilateral relations between Russia and the United States, including huge economic deals and geopolitical stability. How do you read that, my friend?
You know, I read that from Putin's mouth being, we need to stop the crazy nonsense all over. The problem I have with it is geopolitical stability does not start with making threats against Iran, which Trump did today. So I'm having a hard time putting this all together. And without an official statement from the Kremlin, I'm not sure I believe any of it. I believe that, well, I don't want to unpack it more than that until you're ready to.
That's safe too, because I always say you got to wait 24 hours in the news cycle.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't want to respond from emotion, but I am feeling positive, and I'll go with that.
Yeah,
I'll go with that emotion.
I'm feeling positive, but I'm not feeling trusting of the news out of the United States. I mean, we're getting this stuff off of The Guardian, Reuters. Well, I'm looking here, basically Guardian and Reuters, and the Irish Sun. But, you know, how reliable are any of them? You know, I can see Putin agreeing to a 30-day ceasefire on halting the energy infrastructure in exchange for something.
Well, I tell you what, there's a little bit more information here from RIA Novosti and their USA Telegram channel. And they are reporting that there was a detailed and frank exchange of opinions on the situation around Ukraine. Putin responded positively to the initiative on the mutual renunciation of strikes on energy infrastructure by parties to the conflict in Ukraine for 30 days.
Okay, so
In
let
addition,
me stop you for
go
a
ahead,
second. What
do it.
does responded positively? Does it mean he agreed to stop for 30 days? Or did he agree that it's a good idea to stop for 30 days if these other conditions are met?
It sounds like the latter. Like, yeah, I can do that, but we've got some other things to do.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's also a gesture of goodwill. Putin declared his readiness to thoroughly work out possible ways of settling the situation in Ukraine together with his American partners. He said that the Russian Federation, as a gesture of goodwill, will hand over to Kiev 23 seriously wounded Ukrainian armed forces servicemen who were being treated in Russia. That prisoner exchange, Putin informed Trump that on March 19th, which is tomorrow, a prisoner exchange would take place between the Russian and Ukrainian sides. 175 prisoners for 175 prisoners.
Well, that's a good sign, maybe.
That's a good sign if it'll happen.
It's a good sign if they want to be traded back.
Yeah, some of the armed forces Ukraine may not want to go back. Russian leader also responded constructively to Trump's idea of implementing an initiative on the safety of navigation in the Black Sea.
But again,
This
what
is,
does
your
responded
backyard.
positively mean?
We do not know.
You know,
do not
I've been
know.
hearing speculation that they might, Russia, since they don't need the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, which is on the Russian side of the Dnieper River, there could have been discussion around trading that for Russia putting a Navy base in Odessa. You know, we'll give you a little bit on our side, but you have to give us a little bit on your side, which gives a little bit of security for Russia on Transnistria as well. So, you know, I don't know. Just a lot of speculation out there, and I debate how much the mainstream media is speculating. You
Let me go ahead
can't
and
read
report-
into agreed positively.
No, you can't. Also, Sputnik did release information. I'll just read what Sputnik is reporting, and that is in the context of U.S. President's initiative to introduce a 30-day ceasefire. The Russian side has outlined a number of significant points. The first point is ensuring effective control over a possible ceasefire along the entire line of combat contact. The second point is the need to stop forced mobilization in Ukraine and rearming of the armed forces of Ukraine. So those are 2 points now that President Putin has outlined that need to happen.
Yeah. So then the question is did Trump agree? Hello.
Yeah, I'm reading one more. Let me read this. A serious risks. One final point from the Sputnik report was serious risks associated with the inability of the Kiev regime to negotiate were noted. Attention was drawn to the barbaric terrorist crimes committed by Ukrainian militants against the civilian population of the Kursk region. The Kremlin also named a complete cessation of foreign military aid and the provision of intelligence to Kiev as a key condition for resolving the conflict in Ukraine peacefully. And that brings me pretty much up to date.
There's another positive thing. they're going to resume hockey matches between the Russian and United States national teams.
Yes, I did.
That one I can believe they agreed to.
That would, yeah, that was, well, why would you lie about that? Why would you lie about that?
I agree.
Incredible. But you want to talk about some cope from the American side? Check this clip out. This is I don't even know who this guy is. I just saw him for the first time today. But I'm going to play the clip. Make of it what you will. Here we go.
Putin has a respect for President Trump because he understands who he's dealing with. Remember, this is President Trump's second time as president of the United States, in which they had a very good working relationship in which the two men respected each other. There's a reason why President Putin didn't gain anything when President Trump was in the White House the first time. It's because he understood with President Trump behind that resolute desk in the Oval Office, he wasn't going to play the same games as he usually did under President Bush, under President Obama, and under President Biden. There's a reason why Crimea wasn't annexed under President Trump, because President Trump didn't allow that. President Trump talks about it all the time. He gave the Ukrainians javelins when President Obama gave them pillows and blankets. President Trump means business, and at the end of the day, he wants to score peace, which is exactly what he's probably going to be able to do in a very short period of time.
I want to barf. I really
when
want to barf.
When I shared that with you earlier, it gave me unending heartburn. And this is why, although I'm positive, I'm skeptical of what is coming out of the West on this phone call. And where's RIA getting their information from? The White House again. Crimea was already, granted, Crimea was reunified under Obama. But let's keep in mind that the planning for dealing with Russia and the special military operation, putting NATO into Ukraine and starting a war over all this was being done in 2019 and 2020. I worked on that planning. So that's when Trump was president. So he was planning for it all under his presidency. He just allowed Biden to execute it.
Yeah, misalification sounds like a big, fat, double-barreled middle finger to the Olympic Committee. Sure does. Sure does. Wow. So I don't know who this guy is, but let me tell you, he's got some cope. It's, you know how you had DEI hires during the Biden administration? This guy is like, he was hired by an intern, and a freshman intern at that, because I've read from a teleprompter just long enough to know this guy was reading from a teleprompter. I don't know who wrote that, but wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot of barf. Even for Donald Trump, I think that would be a lot.
It just gives me heartburn every time Trump starts spouting off about under my presidency, and he was planning this crap under his presidency.
Yeah. Incredible. And before I go, I just got, let's just talk about this. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll take it off.
Another potential negotiating point is there were some administration leaks on the U.S. side that they were going to talk about ending aid for Ukraine, the military and monetary aid, in exchange for Putin not helping Iran if it came to a war with Iran. And this sounds like a business deal that Trump would put forth. Now, I've heard people say, well, Putin would never agree to that because they're friends with Iran. On the other hand, it was that video we played at the beginning. I will do what's best for the Russian people.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of speculation. Go for it. Sorry, I'm just in a mood today.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
I feel like sounding off.
There we go. Kirill Dmitriev. I have no idea who this guy is, but he's got it out. He calls out Michael McFaul. If you don't know who he is, he was a former ambassador under the Obama administration, U.S. ambassador to Russia. He hates Russia with a passion. And of course, Michael blocked me on X, so must be doing something right. Enough carrots for Putin. For better negotiations, serve maximum pressure instead. And Kirill writes, Mike McFaul and the deep state actors in the Atlantic Council have been wrong. They relentlessly pushed for World War III and are now bitter over their failure. However, dialogue and problem solving may overcome malice and resentment. Yeah, Michael McFaul, what a tool.
Yeah.
Tool of the deep state.
And speaking of tools, we have Viktor Orban again calling for not the European Union not funding Ukraine unless they get their funding back from the EU because it was stopped because they were supporting Russia.
Interesting.
And I don't remember what her name was. There's somebody else out of the EU today released a video. I clipped it and lost it. You know how well I was together today. But she was saying it's time to quit spending all this money on weapons in the name of peace and instead to spend it on their own people.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm downloading something right now. Go ahead.
How about Boris Johnson? Anyone want to hear Boris Johnson admitting that it wasn't his fault that the 2016 peace deal
Bring that up.
2022 peace deal wasn't done? Yeah, where are you, Boris? Boris. I have got Boris here. Here he is.
Put him up there.
You got to remember that Volodymyr Zelensky is not he's not an unreasonable guy. He got elected really as a peacenik. He was out that 2019 he tried to do a deal with Putin. As far as I can remember, his basic problem was that the Ukrainian nationalists couldn't accept the compromise, and you can see why not. You got to remember that Volodymyr Zelensky is not he's not an unreasonable guy. He got elected really as a peacenik. He was out that 2019 he tried to do a deal with Putin. As far as I can remember, his basic problem was that the Ukrainian nationalists couldn't accept the compromise, and you can see why not.
Hey, who knew back in the 70s that Benny Hill was an actual prophet and not a comedian? Oh man.
When you see his haircut.
Yeah. No, you hit the nail on the head right here. Nationalist didn't let Ukraine sign peace in 2019. Yep. But there aren't any in Ukraine, according to mainstream media.
Yeah.
Absolutely
But
right.
it also isn't his fault that they didn't sign it in 2022. It must be those same nationalists that aren't there.
Ultra right nationalist. And I remember when they started to call people like me who had thoughts like I do, and probably like many of you who are watching us right now, started calling us ultra right wing nationalists in the United States.
Emily, I think the problem is that somebody did kick him when he was a soccer player.
Oh man. Yeah. Benny Hill, definitely a prophet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hey guys, a couple of more things happening in the United States that I kind of want to bring up briefly, but there isn't a what? Before I get to that, I'm going to talk
Okay.
about how many influencers, or let's say people with large accounts who are right wing, pro MAGA, pro Trump, America First, X accounts, large accounts, are being swatted. Y'all know what swatted means, right? That's when the FBI or some police agency SWAT unit comes breaking down your door because somebody reported you that I don't know, you had several children in the home that you were molesting, or you were selling drugs, crack cocaine, who knows what. But there is a large I think it's planned. It has to be planned and coordinated from a very high level, because too many of these have been happening.
Eddie. Trump says he has banned them from doing stuff like this, and they aren't doing it anymore.
Well, hey, in cops' defense, you receive a report, you got to follow through.
Yeah.
But you would think that they would do a little bit more due diligence in pre-raid planning to determine if it really is warranted or not. But a lot of these guys, they just receive this information, boom, let's get out there. Why? Because law enforcement has been sued through lawfare for not responding to these kinds of reports. So you can't really blame the cops. They've got to go check. And so, but yeah, they're
But can
getting
they go
swatted
check
left and
without
right.
kicking doors down?
You would think they would do a knock and talk first.
Yeah.
You would think, but yeah, crazy. The second thing that's happening, in addition to the swatting, not quite, we're not there yet, is all the Tesla dealerships that are suddenly getting bombed. Okay, have you noticed that? That's coordinated as well, and you've got to think about it. The deep state has been crippled in the states, and they are not as effective at using lawfare as they used to. So what are they doing now? Using chaos, anarchy, fire, whatever. It's what they do best. Yeah.
Yep. Burn them out.
But now let's talk about what's dropping today, and as far as I know, that's already been dropped, and that's the JFK files, and supposedly
80,000 pages.
80,000 unredacted pages. Supposedly, I haven't seen them, but apparently, I believe they are out. If you know if they are out for sure, put it down here in the live chat. But
They are out. The government released approximately 80,000 pages of previously classified documents. Some people are saying they're not redacted, and some people are saying some of them are redacted. You know, can you imagine how long it'll take to go through 80,000 pages?
Well, you scan them, you put them into a computer, and then you use AI to sort through it. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I know how long it takes me to scan 20 pages. So the interesting thing is the only thing they've said is it contains intelligence reports, internal memos, investigative records from the FBI and the CIA. And you know what they found out? They found out that Lee Harvey Oswald was under investigation when he went to Russia and Cuba, and he was a member of the Communist Party. And they're making big news out of this because I'm thinking nobody has really had a chance to read it, because this has all been known for years.
This has been known for years, but here's what's going to happen. Let me go ahead and predict it, and let me go ahead and tell you right now. There is not going to be one page found that is the smoking gun, that is going to say, on this day, this person did this to this person, and this person ordered it to happen. It's not going to be from A to B to C to D, all the way to Z. It's going to be up to people like you and me, citizen journalists, and somebody who's going to go through all those documents, who's going to piece a case together. Then they're going to tell you who done it.
You know,
I don't think there's going to be a smoking gun in any of these.
with Elon Musk being so prominent in the Trump administration right now, I would bet Matt Walsh will have his fingers on those documents.
I'm sure. A lot of investigative journalists, investigative reporters, just people who have an analytical and investigative mind will be going through this and will be connecting the dots. And eventually, we'll know who did it.
Yeah, and some people are already saying that, there's nothing that shows it wasn't anything more than one gunman. How can they know without having gone through it all? Unless there's prior knowledge.
Hey, Etta Wolf saying hi. I bet we will find a lot of interesting information that we didn't know about. For instance, somebody connected to someone else, or somebody was having an affair with someone that we never knew about or thought about, or somebody had a business dealing with someone that, I think it's going to be a lot of revelations like that that will surprise and help to connect further dots along the way. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. Experts are saying, they're cautioning against anticipating any groundbreaking revelations. Will we see photos of JFK, in bed with Marilyn Monroe? Well, we can only wish, but
maybe
again,
maybe not.
It doesn't, maybe not. But even if it did, would it tell us anything we didn't already know?
Exactly. But it would just maybe reaffirm something. But like I said, I think the proof of who did it is going to be in the minor and the minute details that come out of these 80,000 documents.
Yeah, somebody was talking, Rosie, the medical reports. This is what I'd like to hear about.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you remember that the movie JFK with was it Kevin Costner, if I remember, and they brought that up about the medical reports from the hospital, and hello Odious, welcome.
Yeah, Odious. Yeah, some people have raised the issue that the VP ordered them not to operate on JFK or not to save his life. So I'd like to see some things around that.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to know a little bit more about the Kennedy family itself and Joe Kennedy and his relations to certain people, certain groups. I think that would be very interesting. Some of the business deals that they may have made. I don't know if that information is in there, but I'm sure it is. So, yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to mention this one more time for those who are joining the live, and you may be joining late. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Eddie. I am a native Texan who now lives in Moscow, Russia. Happen to be a photographer, that's why I'm a Moscow photographer. But Kevin and I, who is another American in
Crimea.
He's in Crimea. Crimea's Russia, by the way. We are coming to you live from Russia, giving you a perspective of geopolitics from an American voice and thinking, but from a Russian perspective. Because there's news that happens here that you never hear about in the West. If you like that kind of content, if you're interested in a different perspective, be sure you, where is it? Right here. Go to this channel, Sounding Off Podcast, and this one right here, InfoWars Press, and subscribe to both our channels. I have a weekly podcast that I do every Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Moscow time, 12 noon Central time in the States. And Kevin, when is your regular scheduled?
My regular
podcast?
scheduled on American in Crimea is on Saturdays, now at 8 p.m. Moscow time.
There you go.
Clock
12
changed
noon
in
the States.
the West, so I adjusted.
Yeah. So we give you a little bit different perspective because we see things here differently. And we hope that you enjoy that. Have you got anything else? I mean, I'm searching for news and I'm not seeing any.
Well, happy Reunification Day.
Happy Reunification Day, yes.
So if you go to my American in Crimea channel on YouTube, I think we have a banner here somewhere on that. But yeah, you go here. I did a historical content video on Crimea reunifying. It starts back in 1921 and goes through 2014. And those of you who happen to be on Telegram can go see me talk a little bit about new infrastructure and stuff on RT.
If you guys are on X, please follow me on X. I love spending time on X because right now I'm reading a Russian X account says the ice hockey part was the most important thing in the Trump-Putin phone call.
Well, it was for me too.
So far, that's been the biggest news that we can probably confirm. And RT is reporting that Trump and Putin.
Oh, Eddie. You know, when he went to Texas, I told him, you need to get a power supply. And he goes, oh, yeah. So here we are. I'll babble a little bit because I'm in the mood to babble. Well, Eddie looks for a replacement battery. So, y'all, is what I want you to do is in the description, Eddie has links to make donations. So let's try to get him a donation to buy a power supply for his camera. He told me he was buying a new camera and it was coming with a power supply, but I'm guessing he didn't get it. So that's what you all are making donations to Eddie for today.
Was
go down and hit the little $sign below
was
the
was he
comment
bad mouthing me?
section.
He was bad
And-
mouthing me, wasn't he?
And we're gonna get him with your donations, whether you make them on my channel or his. We're gonna get him a power supply for that damn camera.
I'm gonna tell you, I have a power supply and it's hooked. No, it's not. Holy crap!
When it came up with a big red battery empty, we knew it wasn't hooked up.
I'm just looking at it right now, and there's 2 cables hooked up to my camera, not 3. And I'm like, wait a minute, why? I have one, guys. Appreciate the donations. We appreciate their donation. But
Bishop
I
Acacia,
do.
you can donate if you go to the links in my description in rubles. I believe Eddie has a Boosty account as well.
You have a Boosty account, and I have a PayPal account. Either way, so
Yeah,
no problem.
and I have my my U-Money account listed.
And I take Bitcoin too. I don't know if I have a Bitcoin address on there or not, but
I quit publishing my Bitcoin address because they started marking them as sanction violations. So if you need a Bitcoin or a USDT or any other kind of wallet, email Eddie or myself, and we will get you wallets.
yeah, good point. Good point. All right, what else have we got?
I don't know. I started a new format on the American in Crimea channel. I'm doing local news. I did that this last Saturday, and my viewers seem to love it. So I may continue doing that. But that's Crimea related, so. But all my geopolitical stuff will be. Look at that! I finally figured the finger out.
Oh, did
See?
you? To what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, there, Eddie over there.
No, actually, you're over there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're over there, I'm down here.
Crazy. Trying to read
I can
some
do
of
it
these.
both-handed. See, woo!
Does anybody have any questions? If you have any questions for us, Zelensky got Eddie. No, he didn't. No, he didn't, Alan. If you have any questions, please put them down in the stream.
Odious is giving me crap. He was there Saturday, and I told them they were predicting snow here. And I said, it's going to be pretty tough to get snow when it's 23 degrees outside. I got down to 12 today. Still no snow. They're still predicting it, but it's supposed to be warm and sunny again tomorrow.
Good deal. It was a
But I
beautiful day here.
refuse to wear the swimsuit, the bikini.
I think it is, Murat. I really
Or
believe it
maybe-
is.
Maybe simply a naval base.
Yeah. And Rosie says the Kremlin releases Putin-Trump phone call summary.
Cool.
We'll check that out here lately or momentarily. But if anybody has any questions, throw them down, please, in the live chat. If not, we will probably maybe start to wind this up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, summaries of the recent phone call between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin have been released. You want to hear the key outcomes?
Please, put them out there. Can we put them on the
Limited.
screen?
Yeah. Hey, I can put them on the screen. Let's see.
Bear with us,
Share
guys.
screen. Window. Our good friend. ChatGPT.
Oh, wonderful.
Just asked if it's been released. So here you go. Yep, summaries have been released. Limited ceasefire agreement. So no attacks on energy infrastructure. Of course, it's summer. It isn't going to buy a lot this time of year or for the next month. Maritime ceasefire discussions. They will commence discussions. The prisoner exchange, you already mentioned that. So Russia's stipulations: comprehensive ceasefire would necessitate the cessation of all foreign military and intelligence assistance. So he now has to get, Trump has to get Ukraine to agree, but he has to get the European Union to agree too.
Yeah, that's going to
weren't.
be interesting.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Zelensky hasn't commented, and the Europeans are uneasy that
Hey,
they
this
weren't
is going-
included.
This is going to be
They
a
want to
very
dictate to Russia what they'll do, but they want to be included.
this is going to be very interesting for Trump, because we're about to find out just how much pull Trump has with Europe. And
Yeah, because you know what could end this
We'll
in
find out.
a matter of days would be, Russia agrees not to strike infrastructure, but then all of a sudden we have a drone attack on Moscow or on an oil facility. That means it's all off then.
Murad, very good question. Very good question. And where is Z-Man at the moment?
Finland.
He and Mrs. Z are visiting their friends in Finland. Very interesting.
Begging for money.
Finland, remind me, Finland is very close to Russia, isn't it? I mean, physically?
Yeah, like you could, when you take the tour boat to the Winter Palace, you could throw a stone over the side and hit Finland.
Yeah. So, Edelwolf says 180 kilometers. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. 100 miles, maybe? Or
Yeah.
less?
Less.
So, very
Hey,
interesting.
Siri, what's 180 kilometers in miles? I'm thinking about 80.
180
111.
kilometers is 111.85 miles.
I love
Close
my
enough.
technology.
Close enough. But yeah, Murad asks a very good question. What do we think happens to Zelensky going forward? I just want to see what he's going to say. First of all, he's very interesting that he decides to travel when this phone call is happening. And hey, you've got
Well,
a post here from Rumble. Do you see it? Let's see, we've got Alex49.
from Rumble,
Is it illegal
Wow.
to throw a stone at Finland? Yeah, from Rumble.
I have been hearing that we could get, comments from Rumble. This is the first one I've gotten off of Rumble in a year of streaming over there. So, Alex X49, thank you. This is exciting as the one X comment we got.
Yeah, we got one comment from X. If anybody's watching us on X, drop a comment in the live, please, so we can see it. But
And we can't see them in our studio. I've got them off to the side here, but I want to acknowledge for the YouTube viewers that I do have their comments over here if they make them.
cool. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting going forward to see what happens. I want to see what Zelensky releases, what his response is going to be. But I have a prediction, if I may.
Somehow I picture him sitting in Finland and they're going, "Now, Green Man, be calm. NATO is still on the table as far as we're concerned. We don't care what the United States or the NATO Secretary General says. Stay in there, fight to the last Ukrainian."
I have a prediction. The first comment is going to come from, wait for it, Two-Tier Stormer. The second comment is going to come from Emmanuela Macron. Yeah. And then the third statement will come from Z-Man. Just a prediction. In fact, why don't you let's ask Rook.
I am asking right now. Macron has released a statement emphasizing the necessity of involving Ukraine in any decisions. Olaf Scholz, he isn't even chancellor anymore, is he? Wasn't the new guy sworn in?
Yep.
Okay.
Can't remember
Says
his
Ukraine
name
has
either.
to be included.
So they're parroting the same information.
Yep, my sister Maloney. It's a critical step towards lasting peace. Peace. I might as well have drank the wine.
Should be drinking wine.
Von der Leyen praised Denmark's increased defense spending. And Orban said that he does not support continued funding to Ukraine until Hungary's funding has been restored by the EU.
Oh, let's see right here. The EU, UK, and Ukraine are irrelevant. Their opinion is neither asked for nor needed. While I believe their opinion is somewhat irrelevant, I will say that they are relevant on the world stage simply because of size, because of economic capability, trade, and of course the people. But they're in really, really bad hands at the moment. So. And did you guys know, I will tell you a little story, that my first job that I ever had was I was a flagman for a crop dusting company. So I'd drive in my little truck, have a little flag on my truck, and count the rows for a crop duster. But my first real job was a temporary position with the Internal Revenue Service in Austin, Texas, at the Austin Service Center. Mm-hmm. Yeah, way back in the day. And Trump just fired 45,000 IRS employees. Poor guys. They're probably all GS3s and 4s anyway.
I don't know. Those poor, kinder, gentler IRS agents. Man, that's been going on for years, right? So, hey, since I rarely get donations, Kevin Wayne, thank you. I appreciate the donation on my Buy Me a Coffee. And Michelizzi, he sent a donation by way of donation alerts. It's interesting because, donation alerts actually goes through Boosty. But if you go directly to Boosty, you have to create an account. So I will forward those funds to Eddie to get a power cable for his microphone too.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it all. And Streamlabs, stop trolling. What else we got here?
I turned Streamlabs off, so it still complains at people, and then now it's complaining at me because it needs to be added as a moderator.
Trump shut down IRS for 90 days. What they ought to do is cancel April 15th. Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
I would definitely be happy with that.
Me too.
Yeah. We actually were seeking donations for a $4,500 Soyuz microphone. Actually, 2 microphones.
2 of them, yeah.
and the processing unit that goes with it. And if anybody knows anybody over at Soyuz, we'd love to demo and maybe be an affiliate, and love to use their equipment. Made right here in Russia. You know, many people have asked, what does Russia manufacture? And they manufactured this shirt, manufactured this ring. They manufacture some photography lenses, which I will be talking about soon on my Moscow Photographer channel. They also manufacture watches. What else? Electronics.
The reality is they manufacture cars and
Cars.
washing machines.
Washing machines. You name it.
Yeah. So, Georges, I have bad news for you. There is not a flat tax in Russia anymore. It's tiered as of this year.
Okay, guys, I've got a Trump statement to put up. Bear with me right here.
Yeah. And we're going to stop before the hour is up. So we got 3.5 minutes.
Here we go. This will be it. This will be it. Trump has issued a statement. My phone conversation today with President Putin of Russia was a very good and productive one. We agreed to an immediate ceasefire on all energy and infrastructure with an understanding that we will be working quickly to have a complete ceasefire and ultimately an end to this very horrible war between Russia and Ukraine. This war would have never started if I were president. Many elements of a contract for peace were discussed, including the fact that thousands of soldiers are being killed, and both President Putin and President Zelensky would like to see it end. That process is now in full force and effect, and we will hopefully, for the sake of humanity, get the job done. Well said, Mr. President.
Let's pray that the ceasefire on energy and infrastructure starts soon.
Yeah, and not only that, do Gaza next, Mr. President.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Odious is saying donation alerts are not working for me from a Russian card. We will check on that, find out what's going on. You can use U-Money.
Yeah, I have my U-Money card listed in donations. I believe. I don't think I removed it.
I don't even know what a U card is. U-Money.
You don't have a U-Money card? I'll send you a link, dude. Easy to get, online bank. You know, it's cool. Oh, I apparently removed it. I'll add it back in just for you, Odious.
Very good, guys. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on a 2-hour, what was it, a 2-hour notice to jump on a live, because our our regular lives, as we said, Sunday night, 8 p.m., Saturday night, 8 p.m. for this guy. Make sure you subscribe here and here.
Yay, he got it. There and here.
And
there and here.
Yeah, if there's any more earth-shattering news between now and next Sunday, you'll find us here.
Yep.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Appreciate it. 276 I saw in the live tonight. Very, very good numbers. We appreciate each and every one of you. I will say from Moscow, пока.
До свидания.